Explain why anyone should invest in this boomer shill thing called Bitcoin. No utility. High market cap. High risk to crash. It's like the internet in 1989 despite its being launched for 10 plus years and shilled hard as. Still nothing to use it for. Boo you at dark web, and to buy altcoin. The most retarded selling points ever. Greater than digital gold, greater than Fiat decides and it can't be changed. No, the miners decides in the end. You, greater than call option on future financial system. Essentially like investing in MySpace around 2012. Why do people do this? Did believers in social media get a call option by investing in MySpace? You are too poor to understand its utility. Bitcoin isn't for you. Go gamble on options or your little 10 ounces silver stack. I'm unironically a millionaire. You could have bought Bitcoin at its lowest point since the crash and have sold it at its highest, and you would have made less than if you invested in an ETF for those 3 years. I wouldn't be surprised if CDs have better returns. Bitboomers are completely in denial. Yes, Raoul is cringe. He was shilling Tetherfund as recently as 2 years ago. I think his video and newsletter business is failing, so he's trying to appeal to Bitcoiners. I keep hearing boomers shilling it hard. Bitcoin will be sub 10% of total coin valuation within 3 years. This URL. You're gonna find out the hard way after the miners' bags are cleared out of the way. And you won't be able to afford a single Bitcoin once you're accepted your mistake. Don't buy it. I've had enough of you weak-handed. Enjoy holding less than 20 coin for the rest of your lives based. I'm noticing a pattern. All the Bitcoin boomer baghodlers can't actually answer why anyone should invest in it. It's just you're dumb. You're poor. I'm going to be rich. Hey, you where? The type of people holding Bitcoin 2020 are unironically adorable. They at least have hope and belief. That's what makes them cute. BTC always starts to plummet when Americans go to bed. Sigh. We certainly could. We don't care to explain it, so some poor who can't dure or ask the right questions. Unlike most here, we don't need you few $1,000 for a pump and dump rug pull. We have Wall Saint investing hundreds of millions of dollars into BTC because they are starting to understand the value prop and the regulatory landscape has become tenable. I don't care if you wallow in your ignorance, we'll see who laughs in 5 years. I'm still waiting for an actual answer. The older Bitcoin becomes, the more valuable it is. Do you think banks and Fortune 500 companies are going to buy into something that's been around for a year, or something that's been working perfectly for over a decade with no downtime and continued awareness and mining investment? You buy it the same reason you buy Link to Iron Hand it and dump on fools when the circulating supply dries up and causes FOMO. I don't give a, I'm not going to spoon feed you. I do not care at all whether you buy or don't. Pretty similar to the stock market though. I doubt most people have a thorough understanding of securities and equities. It's just glorified gambling at the end of the day. Haha, the cope is cute. Who's my big Bitcoin boy who's going to be rich? It's you. If you're a big boy, I think you can Eli 5 why I should throw my $1 million on this piece of crap. Give it a shot, Bitcoin boy. Smile, you are wallowing in your own ignorance. Don't buy, I don't care about you. If you don't believe me or don't get it, I don't have time to try to convince you. Sorry. Satoshi Nakamoto. Seed more. Hold your digital gold for the rest of your life if you want. Boomer coin is only becoming more irrelevant as times goes by. Greater than we certainly could. No, you couldn't, and that's why none of you ever do. Why did you post a 30 minutes video with Martinson and Maloney explaining their positions that we were already aware about that had no relation to the op? We knew Mike was silver stacking and Chris has gone full prepper. I want my 30 minutes back. You act as if I need to defend or clear my investment thesis with you, some angry, ignorant stranger on a scam, pump and dump forum. You are nothing, you are irrelevant. You expect to be bottle-fed like a little baby, and when you aren't you throw your little fits. You came into a thread where the premise is that you explain why anyone should invest in and you go, I could explain it to you but I'm not going to. Are you retarded? Why are you even here? This is the first attempt for an actual argument. Firstly, why would they invest in something that doesn't have any utility in the first place? Secondly, even if this can be true to some extent, the marginal benefit will shrink with time. Today Bitcoin is almost twice as old as Ethereum. But as you probably can tell, this won't be true for long and the marginal benefit will shrink with time. Bitcoin's security is designed to decrease with time, but boomers won't realize that until someone ELI5 for them. Unless the price of Bitcoin keep going parabolic, the security will decrease for each halving. You will reach a point when there is a lot of idle hardware that can only be made to mine, or attack Bitcoin. Once you have enough idle hardware, 51%, in coordination with short bets or governments looking to harm its credibility, attacks will be a common thing. Bitcoin's design is really dumb if you look for long-term security. Greater than if you don't buy my irrelevant piece of bags, you're just a big smelly baby. Greater than no, I won't explain why, but ICC could if I had to. I don't expect anything from you other than you to remain a poor fag who bought into a pipe dream. But you clearly do need to defend your case, you insecure. Mad that a boomer's retirement fund makes more money than your? China already owns Bitcoin, all the miners are located over there. It's literally just used as a slush fund for their illegal and subversive activity. Also, if Bitcoin drops below 6K, then they don't even have profit margins anymore and the network completely collapses. That sums up every bagholder post 2016. They're cute though, always something. Since you're genuinely ignorant, I'll explain. If you tried to cash out $1 million in, you'd destroy its value in minutes. If you want to cash out a cool million BTC, no sweat. And when the time comes to realize profits from all these pathetic little PNDs, the whales move their profits into BTC, where they can preserve their wealth while maintaining the upside exposure to the market. Just look at all the pathetic little 2017 Moonboy coins, like Neo, TUM, ONT, or even worse XRP. Imagine DCA in that trash. There's only a 1-month window where you could have lost money on BTC in its 10-year history. Even if you've been DCA in since the cryptomania blow off top, you're in profit. Eat, page it. Greater than firstly, why would they invest in something that doesn't have any utility in the first place? That could be debatable. There's utility in a currency that is global and doesn't require having to convert between local to foreign currencies, no high-cost bank fees, and ability to instantly know of the transaction and visible proof a transaction occurred as agreed upon. Greater than secondly, even if this can be true to some extent, the marginal benefit will shrink with time. I don't know if it'll shrink, but it might not grow as fast as what it did in the past. The network effect is pretty huge here though. Ask 98% of people about crypto, and they'll only know Bitcoin. Greater than unless the price of Bitcoin keep going parabolic, this is still possible to happen, given its deflationary nature. I'm not trying to convince anyone, and I'm not a maxi, though I do keep about 20% of my crypto holdings in BTC, while I keep over 50% in ETH first mover based poster. Greater than unless the price of Bitcoin keep going parabolic. Guaranteed as those money printers keep printing. You have to take into account that there is massive inflationary pressure across all asset groups, so as long as the money keeps printing, it's becoming harder and harder to actually assess actual value. By the time BTC hits $100,000, that might buy you a very nice car or maybe just a loaf of Wonder Bread. ETH6 was launched 30 years ago, still fringe adoption to date. Greater than as the money keeps printing, it's becoming harder and harder to actually assess actual value. Yeah, we're in completely new territory. Never before has the entire global economy been backed by nothing but fiat, and everyone is printing greater than high market cap. Keck, it's nothing yet. Fake money begets more fake money. Money printing seems genius to keep things running, but once you add too much fuel you'll flood the engine to the plane and then it's a slow coast down to a crash. But it might never happen because everyone expects it to. I don't know if I'm using the term right, but it's like a Keynesian beauty contest where you don't act on what you think but what you think everyone else thinks. So if everyone thinks it'll cause a huge inflation spike, everyone plans on that and it ends up getting circumvented somehow. It's like 3 AM and I've not slept, but keep this thread going. I like it because it's the only real value tracking mechanism invented so far, with the exception of using yellow rocks. Like the internet unlocked information flow, Bitcoin unlocks value flow. The world will never be the same. It is the first hard money and all other money will inevitably be sucked in. The earlier it does, the better off it will be. I personally think most people, like 99% on this planet, completely misunderstands money. This especially includes metal and Austrians. Greater than that could be debatable. There's utility in a currency that is global and doesn't require having to convert between local to foreign currencies, no high-cost bank fees, and ability to instantly know of the transaction and visible proof a transaction occurred as agreed upon. This is a decent argument. How much of its current usage is any of these usages? My counter-argument would simply be that yes, there is some utility in this, but other points counter it. Greater than weak ukes, slow transactions, easy to get hacked, etc. Greater than very limiting in comparison to smart contract platforms which can serve as money with all the listed benefits while also implementing further utility which ought to create a larger demand and larger network effect in the long run. Greater than I don't know if it'll shrink, but it might not grow as fast as what it did in the past. The network effect is pretty huge here though. Ask 98% of people about crypto, and they'll only know Bitcoin. The marginal benefit will definitely decrease. The marginal benefit back in 2015 between Bitcoin is secure because it's been running for 7 years and hey, Ethereum has been running for a few months is a large contrast. In 2035 BTC 37 years versus ETH 30 years, people won't care as much for those extra 7 years as they did back in 2015. I've already mentioned why I think the network effect on BTC will have a hard time to reach any further than tech geeks, crypto gamblers. Greater than unless the price of Bitcoin keep going parabolic. Let's take the extreme scenario, say USD crash and is replaced by Bitcoin. It constitutes above 95% of all trade. Where will the price increase come from? Half of all hashing power gets removed each 4 years. This will be an extremely risky scenario. My example might be a bad one because people will say it won't reach 90% anyway. But I want you to think what happens once Bitcoin's price, in real terms, inflation adjusted, reach a steady state. It's the funny idea that literally everyone understands how money works from first-hand experience that goes back to the very early stages of our social evolution. Trade 2 fish for 10 apples now, or hold a ticket/shells/gems to get 10 apples later instead. But when it comes to complex monetary systems, the type of thought has only been in the works for only a couple hundred years or so, since paper currency was invented. Greater than it is the first hard money. Bitcoin is not money though, and it would be the first hard_digital_ currency maybe, but that's not even true. It's the first that works in a trustless, permissionless, publicly auditable and secure manner though. As MySpace, AltaVista, Netscape, what happened with them? Other companies took notice of what they did wrong and improved. Just like what's happening now. You're absolutely right. Before 2014 it was at least good as a payment system, with instant transactions basically for free, but Blockstream turned it into a useless BitGold clone instead. Bitcoin never had instant transactions before SegWit and Lightning.